Thank you, Chairman. Congratulations to everyone that was elected and serving us. I think we're going to have a great year this year. I think everything that happened, through the election, with Stacey Abrams and things like that, our hours are a lot open to a lot of different things. And I think that's the biggest push right now we're doing to make sure our elections are a whole lot fairer. And we learned a lot. And not only, as far as when we get to the Secretary of State office as a whole, one thing we need to really take a close look at is, the board of elections. Some of them did better than others, but when it comes down to it, is what's going on at the board of elections, those different precincts. There's a big shortage of poll workers, and that was one thing that we got to get out early on to get people involved and let them know, you got some paid positions out there for something you can do. But the biggest thing, we need to work a little bit harder on certain age groups, and we'll talk about that more, that still didn't get out the vote. And we need to really work harder, and we do this in the legislative body. We've been working for the last few years of trying to make sure we have several dates that people can go and vote for early voting, and also keeping certain precincts open. But here's one thing. We pushed so hard for early voting, but then we saw at the last minute a lot of people were in the line, and a lot of them did leave. But if we're going to work hard as a legislator to keep those days and keep everything as much as we can to give people the opportunity to vote, the people need to take advantage of it. So, somebody might throw something at me, but I'll say this, so when I'm hearing people talk about what, Brian Kemp or what the Secretary of State did and what the Board of Elections did, what everybody else did, and still people didn't get out to vote like they should have, and also didn't take advantage of early voting. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about there was so many people in the line on the last day. When you had all week and some weekend stuff, but it's time out for that. We got to get tougher and hold each other accountable and stop just going with, they did this or they did that. What did we do? Did we take advantage of early voting? Or people saying, oh, today the last day to vote? I don't get off until, but you had 3 other weeks before that to go and vote. So if we work harder, especially we can do this for 2018, where we are now, and especially when 2020 hits, if we go ahead and put in people's minds, early vote, early vote. So at the last minute when you come in and your stuff is not right, I don't care what it is, they say, well, your name is not right or your birthday. If you would have early voted, guess what? You would have had time to take care of that. So we need to educate all of our people in all of our districts and let them know it's time out for excuses. Early voting is a great option that can help when it comes down to the nitty-gritty. And different things I'll try to share out, as I get information on certain things that we're going to be covering in the legislative body. But if there's anything that you guys are really, really concerned about, whether it's more the healthcare stuff, things for military, whatever you have, please feel free to go ahead and text me or email me as soon as you can so we can get you in the loop on everything. And I just want you guys to stay in touch with us, not just during session, but before session, as soon as session is over, go ahead and let us, get together and work on a lot of different things that we need to work on.
This is a suggestion since you're legislative and you have to make decisions on the state level. Give some thought to doing away with runoff. Georgia is one of the few states that still have a runoff. In our situation, most black people, they ain't going back to vote in the second time around. So whoever win on the first ballot win. So give some thought. I know you're only one legislator, but you can present that some kind of way and work on that effort to eliminate that in the state of Georgia. Very few states still have runoff. Georgia's one of them. So as a legislator, if you can put that on the front burner, figure out some kind of way how you eliminate it with your other the other members of the body.
Well, I know I spoke with some of the senators and a few others, like the second year I got in, and we tried to, talk about this and the runoff stuff, and then you could hear a lot of different ideas of saying, we do it because of this or that, but
Right.
it would hurt the majority party kinda if the runoff situation happened. So that's why they've said, you know, we don't wanna do it. And I think, Sandy, when you first got elected, you brought that to me as well, and we talked about it again. But when the majority says we don't wanna do it, at that point, it's something that is not gonna be beneficial to them. You see what I'm saying? But we can look at it again and see, you
that's
know
why
what I
you
mean,
do it.
just stay on it.
Yeah, that's why you do it.
Maine just instituted what they call instant runoff, where you have a first and second choice on your ballot. And they did it on their national election scale. So looking at that model might be a good help and see how do they do it? Because everything got settled on election day or shortly after. They didn't have to go to a special election a month later.
Okay.
So that's a certain model.
All right, well, email me that information, you know, like I say, as soon as we get up there, we can start running.
I was gonna echo what he said, and that it gives you multiple choices in terms of preference as to which candidate you want.
It's interesting. Okay, and we can always present that even as a resolution.
Well, I found out some information from the Secretary of State when it comes to voting. You know, they got the special election coming up on the 12th of February,
Right.
where I was at the Secretary of State. But prior to that, I had been calling the Secretary of State office from January 2nd to the 4th. No information, they wouldn't give me any. The information came down around 6 o'clock on February the 4th. Now, the qualifying happened on Friday at 9 o'clock, Friday, 9 o'clock Monday, until 1 o'clock Tuesday. Now, they were supposed to announce that in the papers and with the voter register office wherever you live. Well, that didn't come down until Saturday. And misinformation, the newspaper is saying that the qualifying ends on today at 5 o'clock, when it actually ends on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. And they wouldn't give me any information at the Secretary of State's office about when the qualifying was gonna be. But other candidates that have qualified had that information, and they were able to be there at 9 o'clock. But up to 3 o'clock, that Thursday, I couldn't get any information from the Secretary of State. So I addressed that today, and the Secretary of State can't tell me how that happened. So somebody had to have prior knowledge, and that's not the way the Secretary of State office is supposed to be. It's supposed to be fair for all potential candidates.
Okay, now, did you reach out to all the board of elections here?
I did, but it didn't come down from, yes, and in the newspaper, it came out Saturday. But two candidates already had qualified Friday at 9 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, when I last called the Secretary of State office in Atlanta, they couldn't tell me when the qualifying dates were. So how did the other two potential candidates know when the qualifying was gonna be without prior knowledge?
Okay. You have information on that?
I can answer the question because I'm one of those candidates that she's referring to. And I had reached out to people in the Democratic Party, and I actually found out about it Thursday, late Thursday, from the chairman of the Democratic caucus. So there was no information available for that minute. And I was able to go to Tifton and qualify on Friday, which was just fortunate for me, because otherwise I wouldn't even know you could go to Tifton. So I agree that the information is not shared in a timely manner, because if we did have to go to Atlanta, which is what I originally thought, that would have been a whole lot more difficult to do. And the only way I even found out about the special election was through Gretchen Quarterman posting on Facebook. So,
I have some tips.
We have some questions from representatives, just feel free to step outside and ask them. We're not gonna hold this whole meeting up. This meeting is gonna be an hour and a half long, not 2 hours. Okay? Trust me. I'll be there 2 hours long.
But if y'all will, my email is very simple. DexterSharper@yahoo.com. It's all one word. DexterSharper@yahoo.com. And then we can also, they should have all my cell numbers and everything that they can send out anybody. But if you have any questions, let me know. I'll leave probably Sunday evening, because we start session Monday. But I'll be here all week, to speak to whoever on what, and I appreciate this opportunity. Okay? Thank you.
From now, excuse me, from now on, before you speak, after you're recognized to speak, do you mind giving your name so the secretary can get your name so he knows who's saying what? Because right now, we just take a stab in the dark. Thank you to Dr. Marcus and nobody. This time, just not to omit anybody, to do it the proper way. I would like for all our elected city, state, county, whatever you're an election official, please stand up and introduce yourself. That's what I want to listen to. You know how y'all get, you know how y'all do it. Just stand up and introduce yourself.
Sandra Tooley, Dallas City Council, District 2.
Eric Howard, City Council, Dallas District 4.
Marcus Marshall, Lowndes County Commission, District 4.
Vivian Miller Cody, District 1, Austin City.
Okay, we have anyone here planning to run for political office? Will you please stand and introduce yourself?
Barbara Seidman, running for House Seat 176.
Barbara Griffin, running for House 176. I live in White Cross in Ware County.
J.D. Rice, running for mayor of Austin, 2019.
Adrian Rivers, running for city council at large.
Kevin Bussey, running for mayor of Austin.
Edgar Tooley, running for Board of Election vacancy.
Who?
Edgar Tooley, Board of Education, the vacancy.
I'm gonna do it now.
You got one more, sir. And Lisa Brown, running for District 2, Dallas Board of Education.
Any of you like to have a word to say? Give me 2 minutes. Have the stopwatch on.
Well, just know when to start then.
Go ahead.
I'm Barbara Seidman. I've been trying to run to represent everybody in the state of Georgia and the 1st District and District 176. I won't quit on you. I believe in your health care. I believe in farming. I believe in education, my veterans, and lifestyle wages, where we don't have to live on minimum wage. We can live on lifestyle wages. And I feel every politician that elected to office should do their job that they're getting paid for. Because it's not their seat, it's your seat. You're paying us to do a job to represent you, and we owe you representation to the best of our ability. And if we're not going to be honest with you, we don't need to be politicians. I tell you today, if I get your vote, I'm your voice. I'm your representation. And I will come back and tell you what we're working for and working on in Atlanta. So I hope I got your support, your vote. And my name is Barbara Seidman for District 176.
Me? Hi, I'm Barbara Griffin, and I've been active in Ware County for a long time. I've been chair. Can I come up there? I've been chair of the Ware County Democratic Committee for quite a few years. I was chair of the Waycross NAACP. I started Big Brother, Big Sister organization in Waycross. I started the theater group. So I have a lot of passions, and I've tried to do everything I can for them. Professionally, I'm a social worker, so I've worked in healthcare for many years now. I work with dialysis patients, so I see every day what people have to struggle with. Basically, my whole life I've been dedicated to doing work that helps other people. This was kind of not on my radar, but when I saw the post and I realized it was my district, and also that it's a fairly short time to go through the whole thing, and I still work full-time. I'm on Social Security, but I still work full-time, health insurance, etc. So I think I've seen it from a lot of different angles. And I am here to meet people and learn from people because I don't know a lot about a lot of what goes on in the workings of the state because my experience has been. So this is me, I say what I think, and you can easily find out what my position is on a lot of different things. I'm on Facebook, email, and I do have a Facebook page, Elect Barbara Griffin. Thank you.
My name is Edgar Tooley, and I work for the vacant spot on the Board of Education. Last time I ran on the same platform to eliminate all these names and tags that they put on our kids in school, average kids. One of my goals last time was to get a sidewalk put down Forest Street going to J.R. Newell Middle School for those kids. I witnessed those kids walking down the road at dusk dawn in the grass. My thing over this, we have a school that didn't meet the performance this year. We need to do something about getting those kids and that school off of that list by getting qualified people. I also would like to run on the platform that if we have construction going on in the school system, let's keep some of that money local by hiring local contractors to do that job. If you elect Edgar Tooley, that's what I do for you.
Again, J.D. Rice, running for mayor of Valdosta. I think our city is on the threshold of greatness. It's greater things. But what's despairing to me, I apologize to my voice, just getting over a cold. But what's despairing to me is that when I read an article in USA Today back in October, it was followed up by a study done by Valdosta University that showed that Valdosta is the 9th poorest metropolitan city in the country. And that can be changed. That needs to be changed. There's no reason that we are trailing other metropolitan cities in Georgia on economic development and growth opportunity and job opportunity for our citizens. So my campaign is pretty simple. I believe that we need to take a lead in our state to entice industries that's going to come to Valdosta that's going to be paying a livable wage. Looking at the latest census report, it showed that 32% of the people in Valdosta live below poverty. And poverty is $25,000. The average pay for those living below poverty is $9.82, slightly over $18,000 a year. You can't do anything for your kids off $18,000 a year. We can do better. When a community like West Point, Georgia, a small hamlet just a little larger than Hay Howard, can convince Kia Motor Company to build a $1.5 billion plant in their community and had an economic impact of over $3 billion, starting pay over $30 an hour, 3,000 people hired. Why can't we do the same thing? We have great opportunities here with our railroad. Black Panther, the third largest, longest runway of any airport in Georgia behind Hartsfield-Jackson and Hartsfield-Jackson and Savannah Hilton Head. We have all the runway in Athens, Albany, Macon, Columbus, Augusta, right here in Valdosta. But we don't promote ourselves. And that's because we lack vision. I think we need vision in our city. I'm asking you to vote for me as your mayor in November 2019. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Hello, I am Adrian Rivers, and I am here from this great city here in Valdosta, Georgia. I'm 33 years old. I'm very invested in this community. I am currently the program director for a foster care agency here, and I worked at DFAC for about 7 years. I'm also the vice president of Atlanta. So I'm very, very committed to the community, very committed to what we need here. Just truly believe that it's going to be collaboration. We can't do anything apart. but we're gonna have to do it together. And it's gonna take city council, it's gonna take commissioners, it's gonna take all of us pulling together to create a plan that is going to make sure we have the longevity that we need in this community to make sure we make some positive things happen. As far as the job market, I'm partnering with Will now. We provided over 700 jobs about 3 months ago. We did job training as well. It's not out there on Facebook, but it's something personal that I love. And I don't necessarily need to market it because I'm helping people. And I don't feel the need to market. So I am truly, truly excited about what we can do here together. Truly excited to partner with each of you to make sure that we have a great experience here in our city. And with me being 33, I want to see the next generation. I want to see them become leaders. I want to make sure that they're great doctors, they're great teachers. And I believe that just seeing my face will bring some type of encouragement to them that they can make it as well. Thank you. City Council.
I'm Laura Register. I'm from Cairo, Grady County, and I'm running for the vice chair of the Democratic Party's candidate recruitment. It's the vice chair of candidate recruitment. So this is really, really exciting for me to see all these candidates who are stepping up to run for mayor, state house representatives. I'm on the Board of Ed in Grady County, and I find local politics very, very rewarding. So I'm hoping the election is next weekend. So after next weekend, I hope to show up here more often and work with any candidate any way I can, because it's been far too long Atlanta-centric. We need to support our rural candidates and South Georgia candidates. So good luck to you all, and I will have my card in the back, and I'd love to connect with each of you. Thank you.
One more, sir. Ms. Keisha Brown, you have one more, sir.
Keisha Brown.
It's Kalisa Brown.
Whatever. Brown.
Last name Brown.
Brown.
I'm just elated to be here on tonight, and I'm not a huge speaker, but I am very, very wise on doing community service in the community. I am a social worker. Adults aiming for therapeutic foster care. I have actually worked in education under Mr. Alvin Payton. He was my mentor, actually. I've also worked at Lowndes County Defense doing child protective services, and I have a passion for working with at-risk youth. So I don't want to make a change. I want to be a part of the change, and I don't want to make a difference. I want to be a part of the difference. So as your candidate for District 2 Board of Education, that is part of what I can bring as an asset to the Board of Education in the city of Valdosta. Thank you.
Kevin?
One more, I'm sorry. How's everybody doing today? My name is Kevin Rusty. Right here from Valdosta, Georgia. It's the south side of town. Watson Baker Lane, in a minute, if you ever heard of it.
I'm running for that
I
position.
come from nothing.
To a lot of candidates.
Throughout my life, I was told I was going to be nothing. With hard work, dedication, I was able to graduate from here. I went off to serve my country for 13 years. Was wounded in action over in Iraq. Been over there 2 times. And I've seen some things, left there, and I went over to DC, and I worked for the White House for 2 years. And enjoyed my time there, and I say, you know, I see all these great and wonderful things happening to all these other cities and the states. Why can't we do it here in Valdosta, Georgia? As a young adult, they tell you, if you work hard, you'll be able to achieve a lot in life. And so now, I want to be able to show the kids, the youth, the generation that's coming before, that's coming up, that we can, if you work hard, if you do everything right in school, you'll be able to attend or to achieve some things too. And so, I'm running for Valdosta mayor, and I want to be able to affect some change. They say you can't affect the change if you're not at the table. I want to be at the table. I want to see and steer this thing in the right direction. I want to unify. It seems like we unify only up under the Friday night lights here in Valdosta, Georgia. When it's real classic, you'll see everybody come together, but I want to be able to have that, and that needs to be the spirit of Valdosta, period. I heard some of the individuals that came before me say that, we don't have a lot of jobs here. We don't have those big economic jobs here. But it all starts with the children. It all starts with the education. If we don't have the education, they most definitely they're not going to bring a job here. They're not going to give us anything because they're going to look at it and analyze it and say, well, half of them don't have an education. Half of them don't have a high school diploma. They're not willing to go out and get a GED. So what jobs will they be able to be qualified for, even if we bring them here? Public transportation is a need here like none other. But it's going to take us to unify. Oh, that's not, I'm sorry. I'm ready to go. One team, one fight, one Valdosta. That's going to be the motto for my campaign. Thank you.
Anybody else? Let me just say, we have Mark Kelly here tonight, and let me just say from the outside mission, while I was sequestered there for all those hours and couldn't read, had to sit around and had to find something to read. Out of the 23 seats that was on that ballot, not saying about the 2 that were Democrat, but there was 8 Republican seats on that ballot, unopposed. 8 unopposed. We got to do something about that. That's bad. And the other 13, guess what? The Republican won 13 for 13. We got to do something about that.
That's right.
The last time I was here, the night I was elected, I told you we was going to hit the ground running. And we have. We've met twice. And I told you on tonight, when I come in, I was going to be bringing some application for registration. I brought 6 packs of registration forms back on that table. Please don't let me take 6 packs home. You got to be able to know somebody that can register somebody. We need everybody. We don't need the black community, the white community, the Spanish. We need everybody in order to do this thing. Because Atlanta's not joking. We have to show Atlanta that the South Georgia, the rural Georgia, this way can live down here.
Yes.
And our goal, my goal is, we've already talked about it, once we get ourselves together here in Alliance County, we plan on branching out to Brooks, Cook, Clinch. We're going to make a cluster. We're going to let Atlanta know that we mean business. They need to come see us instead of just stand in Atlanta. And we're going to need everybody except. This is a team. This is part of the executive team, but we all on the same team. We're all on the same identical team. We want the same thing. Because I see some little kids in here. That's what we're fighting for.
Yes.
That's what we're fighting for, our little kids. Because if we don't, if we sit around and let things are going right now, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. Anytime you can have an election in the Republican win, 13 for 13 seats, something wrong with that picture. Something wrong with that picture big time. Okay, that's all I want to say on that. Moving on with the agenda. I have to recognize my parliamentarian, since we had the last meeting, I made 2 appointments. One was a parliamentarian, that's Jeremiah Lawson. He's not here tonight. I'm not sure what's going on, but I talked with him yesterday. For Saturday, he said he's going to be here, so I'll check with him. But from our public relations chair is
Catherine Grant.
we plan on getting all the information we possibly can to get out in Valdosta, Alliance County. Because we plan on work. Now we have 3 other seats. We have a vice of elections, vice of qualifications, and vice of membership. My Dr. Moss, if he'll have a few words about his position.
Chairman Anderson asked us to, each of the vice chairs, to prepare our goals for the two-year term that we have. The vice chair for elections is responsible for both internal and external elections, determining party districts. As you know, we're organized in the same way as the Lowndes County Commission, 3 districts, 2 super districts, and at large, with 4 posts in each district and super district and at large. We have 2 vacancies to fill on our county committee, which we'll fill later in the agenda. One from District 1 and one from District 3. If you live in either one of those districts and are not currently on the county committee, you are most welcome to run for those tonight. The county committee is also responsible for electing our state committee members. Let me remind you that our state committee members are Gretchen Quarterman, Dexter Sharper, and Deborah Tan. They will be meeting on Saturday, January 26th, to elect the state officers for the next 4 years. That will be their last meeting as state committee members, and then next month we will have elections for state committee members. We are entitled to 3 state committee members in Lowndes County. If you are interested in becoming involved at the state level, this is your opportunity. And finally, the final responsibility for the vice chair for elections is performing primary and election functions. That includes attending Board of Elections meetings every month, voter registration, getting out the vote, rides to the polls, poll watching, and arranging witnesses for opening and certification of the ballots. If you are interested in any of those activities, please sign up with me because this is where the rubber hits the road. This is where we get out the vote. This is where we get folks registered to vote, and this is where we get folks to the polls. This is what makes a difference in winning elections. The key thing that the Lowndes County Democratic Party is committed to is electing Democrats.
Right.
At the local, state, and national level. We've got two special elections coming up that you've already heard from the candidates of. House District 176. The early voting for that starts on Tuesday, January 22nd. Voting on the precincts on February 12th. And then the following month, the Valdosta City School Board District 2. Early voting for that starts on February 25th. Voting in precincts on March the 19th. On the table at the back, you'll find an election calendar that lists the 2 special elections and the hours of early voting. You also have the opportunity to cast an absentee ballot for any or no reason whatsoever. So there's no excuse not to vote and not to get everybody that you know to vote. Then later on in the fall, we'll have the municipal elections. All of the open positions are listed on this elections calendar. And then on the back, next year, the presidential preference primary. That date has yet to be finalized by the legislature. It's likely to be on Super Tuesday, which is March the 3rd of 2020. And then in the fall, all of the important national, state, and local elections. And again, they're all listed on the handout on the elections calendar. So if you want to become involved in making an impact on elections, please volunteer with me. Thank you.
Once again, we're gonna need Dr. Marks and the other 2 guys. We're gonna need someone to work with him. So if you wanna work with Dr. Marks, like I said, please give it to him, because we definitely need your help. Next, we'll have membership.
Good evening, everyone. I just talk a lot. Everybody know I talk all the time. What our goals are, we're starting over brand new. This is a new year. We want to make a difference in Lowndes County. In order to make a difference, you have to be a member of the Democratic Party. By being a member, we get our mayors and et cetera. But what we need tonight, our goal is to have a Democratic office. That we can put Democratic office. Anybody ride through Valdosta can know You can come to the Democratic Party and talk to our president and et cetera. So tonight, I had these when you walked in. I need a vice chair to help me. Mr. City helping me get members, help me. I'm always on Facebook, I'm always calling. Tonight I called a few and I see them, they are here tonight. But if you did not fill out this membership form, I need you to fill this out if you live in Lowndes County, because we're doing a Lowndes County Democratic membership roster. When we get this roster, I'll be calling you and my co-partner will. The individual fees is $25. Family pack is $40. Seniors and military and students at VSU, $15. I just put VSU because I got a godson that's here. Hold your hand up, godson. That's my baby. That's my godson. So, to let you all know that I always pick up for my god baby. But all the schools are $15. But if you did not fill this out, raise your hand so I can get it to you. If you don't have the money tonight, it's okay. I'll just call you next week. By the next time we meet, you can also pay online, okay? So, but if you did not fill this out tonight, raise your hand so I can pass you one. Did you, sir? You got a brand new one? Okay. Yes, sir.
What happened to our membership records?
I plead the fifth, but I'm gonna say we had an emergency fire and we don't know where they're at. It's a new day and a new year. Okay, so what we're doing now, we're starting out, like as I said when I first began, we're starting out brand new. Even if you were a seasoned member like me, I still gotta fill one out. Fair enough? Fair enough. We can say the dog ate the paperwork. And I still love it.
Yes, sir.
While she's doing that, Mr. Chairman, along that same line, we talked about getting a house of our own, a Democratic house. Where are we in that regard?
That's coming.
Huh?
We'll be discussing that a bit more down here.
I'm sorry, okay, thank you.
So again, if I need a vice chair to help me out, I'm gonna pick me one if you don't help me, because I'm looking at it. But I do need some help. Real. Say, oh, I got one. Pro Tim, go away.
They were calling you. Just like one person, one other person, or
Husband, wife?
they were calling you. So let them know you're here.
Yeah, just your husband and your wife. Any other questions? I thank you. I thank you. And I need you to turn this in as you go, because I believe I'm like the church folk tonight. Turn it in, because I need a roster to see what's the second membership. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I still need you to do this. Just right, you're going to pay your life.
Jeremiah.
Okay, anything else for membership? She needs volunteers to help what she's doing. So please, help us, help her, help yourself, help her. That's what it's all about. Next is qualifications. Yes, sir. All right.
My name is Glenn Ritchie, and I'm newly elected vice chair for qualifying. And basically, one of the primary goals is obviously to get candidates qualified to run for elections. However, given that we're also running into a season in the upcoming months where there's going to be a lot of nonpartisan elections, there's another concern that's been brought up to my attention that we're hopefully going to be able to avoid. And I'm a social worker like some of my fellow Democrats here, and sometimes the only way I know how to say it is plain. In a partisan election, the more the merrier. The more people we get to run for office, the better. We put them in a primary, we read out the candidates that aren't the strongest, and we rally behind the big, strong candidate. A nonpartisan, even though there's not Democrats or Republicans, we got to be careful, guys. We got to be careful that we don't have a whole lot of candidates with Democratic interest in mind, even though they may not be running as a Democrat or Republican. We've got to be careful how many people are coming into the office. And so it's just something to think about. It's something that we need to be considerate of. We want as many people candidates as possible, but we also want to make sure that we get people with the best interest in mind when they're going to be running for office. And, so those are two things I'm going to be tackling in my time here. And just like Dr. Marks, if there's anybody that's interested in helping out with that, please let me know. And some of y'all that have talked about running, I'll be in touch with y'all at some point as well. So thank you.
You don't have any questions for me? Okay. Since my parliamentarian just showed up, we're gonna give him an opportunity to talk. That's gonna do a good, so parliamentarian, I can feel
Right, so you're gonna find you staying late for being late. No time, no more than I can tell you. Now, Mr. Chair, talk. Didn't you say you 6 or 7?
6.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ.
I was here at 5:15.
I beg to differ. I got a 7 o'clock thing in my mind, and I looked at myself, just said it was 3 minutes to 7. I knew I was running close, but that's not a joke. And folks who know me know I don't like getting late, I'm sorry. And I like the idea of meeting at 6, but this thing was always in my mind about 7 o'clock, so I apologize to you. I'm glad that you moved on with the agenda. But as a chair, and I talked many times, that those of us who met in a committee twice, what we're going to try to do is make sure that to some degree we follow parliamentary procedures so that everybody can be heard, but the majority wins. And keep some order in place and make sure that everybody is in agreement. That's basically what we want to do. As far as giving you a lesson in parliamentary procedures, we're not going through that part. Or we will tell you that, most of what we do will be just simple motions, carry them out. We don't have all that other stuff. But anything you want me to explain to you is in this big book. Now, I don't know everything in there. You know what I mean? But I can find what we need. And I promise you that. If we get in a bind, talk to stuff, the chairperson will let you be at ease for a minute. We'll get together and we'll talk. We'll go over that procedure and we'll bring it back to the body and make sure everybody understands. Now, if you have a question about something, feel free to ask, and we'll talk a minute about it. Otherwise, I'll return to the chair unless there's something else. Anybody else do anything? But I appreciate the number of folks who came. And I apologize again that I can't say I'm late because I had 7 o'clock. But now you got to talk about Father Time. Things start slipping up here.
And I need to back up a second. I invited someone tonight, and like I said earlier, when you start calling people names, you're going to forget somebody. And that's why I don't like calling names. So I keep looking back at her, and I say, oh my goodness, I invited her, and she's an important part, because she represents the part, that age, that when we need that vote. They say, young lady, vote, she can reach out to her. Shara Denson, will you come and come?
All right. Welcome, her. Thank you.
Good evening. For those that do not know me, my name is Shara Denton. I'm a native of California, but I've been in Valdosta about 13 years now. I actually founded the National Council of Neighborhood Women here in Loudoun County. We have been successfully growing since 2011. We have 194 members now, ranging from, I'm 37, so I would say the youngest members are probably 18 to maybe 85. So we have a very diverse group of women. I see some members in here right now. After that, I moved my way up as the state president of the National Council of Neighborhood Women here in Georgia. And there's some pros and cons with that, being in South Georgia, like, you mentioned it earlier about Atlanta, and Atlanta usually is my biggest issue, because they're used to doing things a certain way, and so sometimes South Georgia doesn't get the like it should. So my role as a state president is to change that, and that's what I've been working on the last 2.5 years. Also, I'm now serving my second term as a national third vice chair. And what that means is that I cover everyone from the age of 18, college age, to 40 years old. So with the National Council and everything that's doing now, we kind of steered our vision from what we've had in the past. We have a new national president, and Dr. Janetta B. Cole, I think most people should know who she is. And her vision is to embrace millennials and get them out to vote, get them out there to be more active in their community. And so that is one of my tasks these next 2 years, is to work closely with individuals in college and older, up until 40 years old, to educate them and let them understand the importance of not only voting during the regular term, but the midterm elections and how important that is. So Mr. Andy was very gracious and invited me here, and I'm honored to be here. And
And while we all applied about it, another young lady, Dr. Corwell, she just came through the door. She's with the LACE organization. Be sure to tell us a little, don't sit down.
Go up front.
Dr. Corwell is with LACE, another organization I invited tonight. So I invited, since we've been here last, there's been 5 organizations I invited. The DAV is one of them, and LACE is also one for Shara. So I'm steady inviting folks, because we're going to need everybody. Can you tell us a little bit about LACE, what y'all do, and how y'all going to be more than happy to help us out this year?
Well, LACE basically is a volunteer group of ladies that just get involved to help out people that with scholarships, with cleaning up the city, just anything that another organization might come to LACE for to contribute, being ushers at the MLK, working for Keep Valdosta clean, anything that we can do to assist those organizations out there that need volunteers. We've been together since 1985. We've worked with Andy with Juneteenth. I'm also standing here as the vice president of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and we're a social actions group of ladies with public service as being one of our core initiatives. So I came here from that invitation to just to see where LACE can assist, but I see my sorrow is here on behalf of the deaf.
They all know me, because hey, when I need help, I know who to call. I don't like, the whole thing, I got a philosophy. It's very straight. People you tell me, yes, or no. Very simple. I'm not passionate about that. So, anyway, I want to thank all our, thank you, Sharon, thank you, Ms. Cornwell, for coming, I appreciate it. The DAV is not here, but this flag back here behind us, it belongs to the disabled veterans, because our flag apparently has some issues. And I was not going to lean it against the wall. I was not going to have the eagle not showing. So I bought the retired veteran. That when I saw that, I just got the 38 high. But that won't happen again. That flag will be like it's supposed to be. We will be getting the flag. You know, at the bar that one. Next, I'm going to turn over to Dr. Marks to take care of the couple positions we need to take care of.
We have 2 vacancies that I mentioned earlier on the county committee, Lyons County Democratic Committee. I've been asked to say briefly what the committee does. The committee is the legal representation of the Democratic Party in Lyons County. The committee is the 24 elected people, plus ex officio people who have been elected as Democrats, or people who serve on the state committee. That body is the one that elects the officers, it elects the state committee members, it decides the direction of the Democratic Party with the input from every Democrat in the county. So these are the 24 people who were charged with carrying out those responsibilities of maintaining and keeping the Democratic Party moving forward. I'm going to read off the names of the people who are currently on the committee. Those are the ones who are entitled to vote for the replacements, and then I will call for nominees for the 2 vacancies. Current committee members: Sandra Tooley. Yeah, please. Willie Rayford.
Here.
Vivian Miller Cody.
Present.
William Lamb.
Here.
Janie McGinn.
Here.
J.D. Rice.
Present.
Mr. Andy.
Here.
Myself. Jeremiah Lawton.
Here.
Greg Moore. Norma Dave.
Here.
Catherine Grant.
Here.
Angela Green.
Here.
Jim Parker.
Here.
John Quarterman.
Present.
Dee Dee James.
Present.
Tina Valenti. Glenn Ritchie.
Here.
Gretchen Quarterman.
Present.
Clara Reed. Lee Allen.
Here.
Lonnie Pierce.
Here.
Okay, and then in addition, ex officio, Deborah Tan.
Here.
And have I missed any of the other ex officios? Okay, thank you very much. Let me now call for nominees. Any Democrat who lives in District 1 and would like to serve on the county committee. District 1. Anyone who lives in District 3?
Permission to speak, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you explain to the citizens what area that is, because they might not know?
Right, that was my question, that's why I was. I live around the corner on Diana Drive. I don't know if I'm in District 1. I believe I am.
Who's your city council member?
Excuse me?
Who's your city council
No.
member?
Oh, okay.
No. Who is your county commissioner?
I'm sorry.
County commissioner.
Who's your county commissioner?
I don't know. I'm relatively new to the city. Diana Drive.
Okay, you just give me your.
That's the Marcus.
That's well, Mr. Marcus for one. Marcus is District 4.
That's super district 4.
District 1.
Okay, please give me your name and I will look that up and then we can do this at the next meeting.
Alfonso, A-L-P-A, Whitfield, W-H-I-T, F-I-E-L-D.
Anyone else who's willing to serve on the county committee? Not currently, no.
Anyone else?
Can we nominate someone, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and I will check that out with you later.
I would like to nominate Ms. Mildred Harris.
No, I'm sorry, I'm from Louisville.
Anyone else who would like to be considered for the county committee? Okay, we will, those positions will continue to be vacant. We will take them up at the next meeting.
Okay, we're gonna take it to the next meeting. I need you to listen, something I'm going to say to you. Please listen with an open mind. We have an office on Slater Street. We have an office on Slater Street. That we've been there for some time. We're paying $450 plus a month for a building that we're not using. Now, in my mind, if we have a building over there that we're using, and we're meeting over here, something's wrong with that picture. So, that came to my attention. We also have, that's rent, $300, and an internet, phone, whatever you want to have it, $140 plus. So we're paying out every month for a building we're not using, and we over here. So I brought it to the executive body, we talked about it, we voted on it, we voted that we close Slater Street down. We closed Slater Street building down. Then we had an offer from one of our members that just started renting an office, that she would let us use her executive room for our executive board meeting, free of charge. All we have to do is continue to close Slater Street down, have the phone line transferred to the new office on Gordon Street, and continue to meet here with Mr. Sharp's building. And that's gonna come with a cost, because it's not gonna be just come in and not pay anything. We need to do something for us. But what I'm asking you tonight to think about is closing Slater Street, and continue to look and continue to save money to try to go out and find us a place that we can rent for the Democratic Party. Does anyone have any questions on that part? Yes, ma'am.
The place on Gordon has limited parking.
I can't hear you.
The place on Gordon, the office on Gordon has limited parking.
The office on Gordon Street is for executive board only. It's not an office, it's not a place for this meeting. The only people be there probably most is, what you see up here, maybe one or two more. Yes, ma'am.
There's parking on the side of the building, and usually when you have your meetings, it's in the evening, executive meeting, so I don't think that many people will be coming in at once in one particular time.
The location she's talking about is 202 Gordon Street, West Gordon Street. There is parking in the back, but like you said, we don't use that building in the daytime. Only time we use that building is at 7 o'clock at night. We have our executive meeting the week prior to this meeting. It's not an everyday thing. It might be a thing where I might go by and check the phone lines or whatever to see what's going on. But other than that, that's about it. We're not going to interfere with anybody that has an office over there, and there's parking in the back. But the thing I'm trying to get you to understand is, we have been throwing money away for a long time, been behind on our bills, and it's kind of hard to go out there and ask someone for a donation to an organization when you're not using the money properly that's already given to us. So that's what we're faced with now. So, any other questions? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, just for clarity, we're gonna continue to meet here.
We'll continue to meet here.
And one of the members volunteered that we can meet her office, or is that right, or what?
Mr. Grant? Ms. Grant?
Actually, Janie, the clip, I'm sorry, what was the question? I'm not sure, I was just like Catherine, I was like, huh?
My question was that we're gonna continue to meet here.
Yes.
One of the members volunteered at our office, or whatever, we can meet there.
Right.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Executive board. Executive board.
So the executive board only will be there. Right. And we'll continue to meet here at the Sharp's building.
Absolutely.
That's already
Until we
meeting.
find a place, until we find a big enough place that we can afford for ourselves, yeah.
That's coming as a recommendation from the executive committee to the county committee. So I read off the names of the county committee earlier. If you are a member of the county committee and are in favor of closing the Slater Street office and moving the activities of the executive committee to 2002 West Woodland Street, please raise your hand. If you are,
Nope, Dolores, you don't vote.
opposed? You got two. Okay. The office on Slater Street is now closed. Effective,
We have to give them 30 days notice, so it will be as of February. We are going to need some volunteers to help move what we have in the office. So please, if you would, Catherine, can you coordinate those volunteers?
Sure.
Thank you very much.